Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Maestro. Here with me is a special guest and a good friend of mine, Chef Phil. Welcome, Phil, to the show.
Thank you.
Take it away from here.
Alrighty. Okay, hello everyone. As Nove said, my name is Phil Chang. And the reason I'm here today is because my friend Nove here somehow got the crazy idea that I can cook. For the record, I'm not a professionally trained chef, nor have I taken any culinary classes. But what I have done is I've grown up with a master chef, who's my dad. And growing up, he had me help around the restaurant, at home, and so forth. And I hated it. But somehow along the way, as an adult, I grew to love cooking. So the dish I'm going to be cooking for you today is called shrimp toast. So let's go ahead and go over the ingredients for shrimp toast. All right, I'm gonna show you how to devein shrimp if you've never done it before. It's actually really cool and simple. Okay, so I have this bowl that's already deveined, but I have a few more shrimps left I haven't deveined yet. I'm gonna show you guys how to devein it really simply. So what you do, and it doesn't matter if the shell is on the shrimp or not, because we're shelling these shrimp, so this is already unshelled. So all you do is get a toothpick, you stick the toothpick near the back ridge of the shrimp, put your finger on top of the toothpick and pull, and voila, it comes out perfectly clean. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and mix all the ingredients together. We got the green onion, garlic salt. This is actually a little bit too much, so I'm gonna eyeball it a little bit. Chicken bouillon. And cilantro is actually also, both onions and cilantro is optional. It's really up to you. Some people don't like cilantro, so no need to put that in. This is actually a very, very versatile recipe. Cornstarch. Cornstarch acts as a binder. Garlic. Sesame oil. And then egg white only. Shell just falling apart on me. Good enough. All right, so you can either use your hands to mash it all up or chopsticks. For the sake of time, I'm gonna go and use my hands to mix it all together. So now that we've mixed all the ingredients together, we're gonna put it in a food processor, and we're gonna process it so that we're gonna turn it into a shrimp mousse. It's gonna be kind of like a guacamole texture. You don't wanna over blend it, because once it gets to really fine kind of a mousse, then the texture is different. You want a bit of a bite to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the shrimp in here. And if you have a big food processor, you can just put all of it at once. I'm using a fairly small one, so I'm gonna do in 2 batches. All right, so I'm gonna poach it a little bit. Okay, this looks about good. Let me show you how the consistency is. So if you take a look at this, it's kind of like a guacamole texture, right? It's a little bit chunky, but not too chunky, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and put this in a bowl right now. It's a little messy. Take the blade out and just get all the good stuff into this bowl. Okay, so there you have it. This is shrimp mousse, or you can call it shrimp paste. And one thing that's really unique about this recipe is you can actually add other things in here. The blend, when you blend it, this is pretty much all you want to put in there. But now that it's already blended and mixed up, if you want to add additional colors or textures, you can do that. You can put peas or carrots or water chestnuts is a great item to put in there to add additional flavor, textures and color as well. But we're gonna go ahead and do the plain shrimp paste today. And the next step is we're gonna go ahead and spread it on this bread. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start putting the shrimp paste on the bread now. And we're basically just gonna spread it like you're spreading peanut butter on a slice of bread. Get a good scoop there and start spreading. You wanna spread it evenly. You don't want to have high spots and low spots because you want it to cook evenly. And when I do this, I tend not to spread it all the way to the edges. At least not, the edges don't have to be perfect because for presentation and everything, after we've cooked this, we're gonna be cutting off the crust so it'll look better. So this is how it looks after you spread it. And for the most part, this recipe will make you about 4 pieces of whole bread. But if you like to spread a thicker layer of it, you probably won't do 3. You do a thinner layer, you probably get 5 pieces of bread out of it. All right, so there you have it. We got 4 pieces of shrimp toast ready to be fried. All right, so now we're ready to deep fry the shrimp toast. And for those of you who don't have a thermostat at home, I'm going to teach you a really simple way to kind of test the temperature of your oil. If you have wooden chopsticks at home, here I'm using a disposable one. You just stick your chopstick in the oil, and if you can see, there's a lot of little bubbles coming out, and these bubbles are pretty tiny and coming up pretty rapidly. We're gonna go ahead and take the shrimp toast, and you wanna hold it on each end like this, and you're gonna flip it upside down. So the paste side down to the oil first. Put it in the oil very gently so you don't get burned. And you're gonna, and the oil needs to be about 350 degrees. You don't want it too hot because it's gonna burn. 350 is typically the ideal temperature for deep frying foods anyways. So we're gonna be deep frying this for about 2 minutes with the shrimp paste side down. And we can take a little peek after about a minute and a half. And if it looks too dark, chances are your oil is probably too hot and you can go ahead and flip it. But it should be a little bit of a golden brown when you take a peek. And once it's golden brown, you can flip it to the other side. Okay, so it's probably been about a minute and a half or so. So I'm gonna take a quick peek and see how it looks. It looks very good. I'm gonna try to turn it this way so you can see the color. So this is the color you're trying to achieve. So now that we got that, I'm gonna go ahead and flip it gently. You don't want the oil to splatter. And the whole purpose of flipping it now, the shrimp is pretty much cooked. The reason you're flipping it is you want the bread now to be cooked and a little bit crispy. So we give it about a minute, and again, just like the shrimp side, you want to take a peek at it. If it turns black or too dark, the oil's too hot, you just take it out. It doesn't really matter if the bread is cooked or not, because you're gonna eat bread anyways. And when you're doing this, you definitely should be standing in front of a pan. Don't be multitasking because you tend to lose track of time really quickly, and then you're gonna ruin it because it's gonna get burnt. Okay. So this is about good. You might want to get it a little bit more golden brown, but this is good enough. So now I'm gonna kind of drain it a little bit here, and we're gonna put it on a rack. And after you do that, good thing to do is just put a paper towel on top or something, kind of soak up the extra oil. I'll just leave it there for now while I put the second piece. Again, grab it by the corners, flip it upside down, and make sure you don't get burned. Slowly put it on top, and then about 2 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes, and color-wise it looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and carefully flip it. There you go. Give it about a minute. So for those of you who don't like to deep fry foods at home, this particular dish is, is actually not messy at all because you're not using a wet batter. There's nothing wet. So when you deep fry, there's practically no splatter. You're gonna get some smoke and some odors in your house, but aside from that, there's really not much cleanup. So it's very easy. And when you do this, make sure, if you're not using tongs, make sure you're holding it really tightly because as you're doing this, if the whole piece falls on the oil, hot oil is going to splatter everywhere, so be careful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish frying these other two, and then after that, we're going to move on to plating. Okay, so now we're ready for plating. I've taken 2 pieces of the shrimp toast on this cutting board, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the crust off, as I said, just for, you don't really have to, but for plating purposes, for presentation, it looks nicer without the edges. But of course, you can eat it. I'm gonna put it aside. And you can cut it however you want, whatever shape. I like to do triangular shape, so from one corner to another. And just to show you, you see the little chunks in there? That's the texture that you're looking for. So I'm gonna put this here first, and I'm gonna cut the edges of this one. Again, corner to corner. Okay, so let's move over to the plate. So what I have here to accompany the shrimp toast, you can eat it any way you want. For today, I decided to use some red leaf lettuce, some cucumbers, and some mint leaves. And here I have a popular condiment that I think is like kind of a part of Vietnamese cuisine. Is made of pickled daikon and carrots. And you shred it up, and for another show I'll teach how to make this. It's very simple, but it's made with vinegar, sugar, and daikon and carrots. And I literally made this last night, and just in 12 hours it's going to be very flavorful. It's kind of tangy and sweet. So let's see, put some lettuce. And if some of you think like sauces, dipping sauces, you can use tartar sauce. Fish sauce is a good one to use. You can eat this like lettuce wraps. You can get lettuce and just put it in the middle. You can eat it by itself. Some people like to use mayo, garlic aioli. All right, so let's put some of these on here. Okay, Nove, so are you ready to try my masterpiece?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, Chef Phil.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. The most important thing is, impressed about your cooking is the way you flip the shrimp. It was immaculately very, very clean and no splash at all. But I'm ready to taste.
Awesome. Grab a piece and just take a bite.
Mmm.
You like?
Absolutely delicious. I hope the camera can hear the crispiness of the shrimp. It's amazing, amazing. Thank you for another episode of Cooking with Maestro. Thank you, Chef Phil, for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit that button, and I'm your host, Chef Nove. Cheers.
Cheers.